give a great big hand to these small division grand champions of the Tri-State Youth Football League cheer competition. In the B division, it is your CK Wonders, B-Team cheerleaders. Great job, young ladies.
Okay, we're back for game 2 here in the Turf Bowl, and of course, this Turf Bowl that this Turf Bowl that is being brought to you by One-Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN, as the two teams are meeting at midfield. We have the Buffalo Bison and the Lawrence County Bulldogs. Buffalo comes in as the visitor. Lawrence County is a home team here as we get ready to start this second game. And again, I want to say, first off, just a big shout out to our team that we have at Video Productions today. We have Butch Mounts, Robbie Mounts, Zane Townsend, and Toby Maynard handling production and camera, and definitely want to send a big thank you to them. And it looks like Lawrence won the coin toss and will defer to the second half. So the last game was a great battle between Ona, Milton, and Barbersville. Ona Milton would win 8-0, as unfortunately a fumbled snap by Barbersville deep in their own territory set up Ona Milton for a touchdown. But the two teams played great defense as now it's going to be the two teams meeting up in the huddle, and we're going to get my notes here as we're getting ready to start this second one. But I'm expecting we're going to have more great football games coming up for sure, as this second one's about to take place here at Marshall University. And again, a lot of, I mean, my gosh, the crowd today is outstanding. I mean, the first game, the fans came in and brought a ton of noise. We're getting ready here for the second one. All right, here we go. Buffalo Wayne will start with it, 1st and 10. So here we go. 1st and 10, they're coming out, and it's going to be Lawrence County. That's going to be a wing T formation. And it's snapped, handed off up the middle. He's carried it. Big hole, he's opening up, and he is going, and he is gone to the end zone. First play of the game, Buffalo Bison on the board. That is number 16, Kane Beckley, who jetted through on the first play of the game, and Buffalo Wayne on the end zone first. We're going to go to the replay on this, a 65-yard run, and watch the blocking there, and Beckley able to just shoot right through that seam. He took the ball and did not look back and picks up a 65-yard touchdown run. First play of the game, always a good start for a team, as now the Bison line up to go for 2, as they're going to come out in what looks like that's going to be a power I formation, as that's Fuller under center, the first grader, and whistles blow. So Buffalo takes a timeout. We're going to take one with them. It's 6-0 here in the first quarter. Buffalo in the lead. We'll be right back.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One-Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic.
Point conversion coming up. They're going to go to the power I formation. They just used their first time out. And it's going to be handed off up the middle, or no, quarterback takes it, and he's brought down, sniffed out in the backfield by the Lawrence County defense, so they're able to hold. And now, so that is going to So now Lawrence will start 1st and 10 from their 35, trailing 6-0, but they were able to stop the 2-point conversion as Kane Beckley, first play of the game, jetted 65 yards to the end zone. It's going to be 1st and 10 coming up for Lawrence County now. They're going to come out in shotgun as they have the receivers stacked on the right side. It's going to be handed off left side, and a great disciplined tackle. That looked, and that was number 18, Dallas Vaughn, on the tackle. I couldn't quite see, apologies, who it was that had the ball, but that was a run for no gain. That was Eli Block on the carry for Lawrence. So now they'll come out with the ball, 2nd down and 10 coming up, and they're going to go with the shotgun 2-back formation. And it snapped. Snaps dropped, and he's drugged down in the backfield. Just an unfortunate sequence there as a snap was dropped. And that was number 22, Colton Bentley, handling the snap. And, gosh, that was number 30, Kane Duvall, that got back there. Duvall showing the energy. Like that enthusiasm he's bringing us. Now it's going to be 3rd and about 20 coming up for Lawrence County. So now now it's going to be an empty backfield, 5-wide formation as Lawrence County looking to throw, and he's going to run it. The big guy's going to take it. He has room, and he's close. I think he got it the 1st down. Colton Bentley didn't see anything open, rolled around the right side, patiently took it, and he's going to get a 1st down for the Bulldogs. Good job by Bentley. Nice carry, good discipline on the run. You can see there as he shows a burst of speed to get what was a big 3rd down conversion, the 1st of the game for Lawrence County. So now it's going to be 1st and 10 coming up for the Bulldogs. That's going to be shotgun formation. Again, an empty backfield. A couple receivers bunched at the line, man in motion. It's going to be handed off, a double reverse. The ball's dropped. Picked up, though, and he's going to carry it left side, cuts through a defender, and gets 1 or 2. And that was Muncie on the carry as Vaughn gets back there again to make the tackle. And again, I think that was the ball. That was a great play call, but just the bobbled snap that did it on that. The defense was out of position, but just not able to get there. But that's going to make it 2nd and 10 now for Lawrence County. It's faked. Carry left side, quarterback keeper. He's going to run around and get past the 50. That's going to make it 3rd and about 4. So a gain of 6. Number 31, that was Owen Adkins on the tackle. And that's going to make it 3rd and 4 coming up now. 3rd and 5 for Lawrence County. So likely 2-down territory. They're past the 50. They will need to get to the Buffalo 44 to get the 1st down. And this will be the 2nd 3rd down attempt coming up for Lawrence County today, as they're going to stick with that shotgun 2-back formation. The other 1st down came out of an empty backfield, and that looks like I didn't see any movement on Lawrence County's side. That's going to be an encroachment penalty on Buffalo Wayne. So that will give Lawrence a 1st down without any need for a play. So Lawrence County 2 first downs, 1 by the run, 1 by penalty tonight, and that's going to make it 1st and 10 coming up for the Bulldogs. And it's faked. Bentley's going to take it again. Why not? He has room. Right side, block set up. He's going to cut it to the outside, 35 and close to the 30. but he's going to get his second first down on the ground. And that's number 16, Kane Beckley, on the tackle. That's a gain of 12. So 39 yards rushing for Colton Bentley here, and that's going to make it 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. As the Bulldogs now are in Bison territory. And here we go, man in motion. And it's going to be carried again. Bentley, this time met by a host of defenders from Buffalo. A good job getting there and wrapping up, as that's going to be a gain of about 1. Buffalo Wayne's score early came on a touchdown run, a 65-yarder from Kane Beckley, who jetted to the end zone. First play of the game. As now Lawrence County will have it again here, 2nd and 9 as they get deeper into Bison territory. Man in motion. It's handed off this time up the middle, and a huge hole opened up, and that's going to be a gain of about 3. That's Eli Block's second carry. For a second, that looked like he had a lot of room to run with, but Buffalo closed on that pretty quick. So that's going to be a gain of about 3. So 3rd and 7. Of course, Lawrence County in 2-down territory right now. And they are, I guess you could say, they're 1 for 1 on the 3rd and 20 situation, and then forced Buffalo off sides on the prior 3rd down. So this is going to be their 3rd time they've had it on 3rd down this morning. And it's snapped, high snap. Bentley's going to take it. He's looking for room. A flag down. He goes to the left side. 25, 20, 15, 10. Cuts back to the 5. He's in the end zone, but we're going to see what the penalty is. And I'm going to say that goes against Lawrence County because I could see the coach throwing his head down after the score. And that's going to be in the vicinity of holding. That's what it is. So Lawrence County called for their first penalty of the night. It's a hold. And that's going to move them back and make it 3rd, and depending on the spot, make it 3rd and much longer. Looks like it's going to be 3rd and 17. Now, so what was a touchdown run by Colton Bentley is going to be called back. So now they will need to get past the 23 of Buffalo Wayne to get the first down. Of course, if you're Lawrence County, you can look at it and think, well, remember, I mean, the goal is not necessarily you want to get a first down, but you're in 2-down territory here. They're going to go with an empty backfield. And it's snapped. Bentley looking to throw. He's going to roll out instead. Bentley, he's going to get 7, maybe 9 or 10. Colton Bentley just lowered his head on that, and he gains about 10. So it makes it 4th and much more manageable. So now 4th and 7 coming up for the Bulldogs here, their first 4th down attempt today. So, I mean, I think no doubt we know who's going to be getting the ball. It's likely going to be Bentley, understandably so. He's had had a touchdown run called back to holding, and so far 50 total yards on the ground today. And it's snapped, high snap. Bentley's going to take it. He's going to throw it. Got a man open, and it's caught. First down, Lawrence County. And it looks like that's block on the catch. That's block, and that's going to be a first down. Nice throw from Bentley to block, and that's going to move the chains. So Lawrence County now into the red zone for the first time today. And a good throw, good catch from Block. Saw that coming and positioned himself well. A good disciplined route and enough to get the first down. So Bentley 1 of 1 through the air. Second grader to second grader. Bentley to Block on that one. As now it's a 2 backs, and it's snapped. This time handed off. Block right side. He has room. Block's going to turn it up, and the defender got him. Looked like that was number 51, Owen Adkins. And a good job. That's what you have to do if you're somebody like Owen Adkins. You have to get low and tackle him by the legs. And that was good discipline carried out by Adkins to keep him from breaking to the outside, as now it's going to be 2nd and 8 coming up for the Bulldogs here, as we're probably going to have the last play of the first quarter, barring some kind of penalty. And man in motion. Snap. They're going to throw it, and it's caught. Ooh! Pass is incomplete. Thought he had it, but that's going to be an incomplete pass, so that'll make it 3rd and 8 for Lawrence County. The 4th time they've had the ball on 3rd down today, and that's going to do it here for the first quarter. So we're going to take a break and come back. And you are watching the TSYFL Turf Bowl presented by One Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN. We'll be right back.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
We are back. It's 3rd and 8 coming up for Lawrence County, as they're going with a two-man backfield, or two backs with Bentley. And substitution for Buffalo. The lone score of the game has been Buffalo's 65-yard touchdown run by Kane Beckley to open the game. Lawrence has had it since and has been on a drive. And it's snapped. It's going to be handed off. No, Bentley's going to take it right side. He's going to cut back, cut through the defender, get close to the 10-yard line, and not quite enough for the first down, but again makes it more manageable for his team coming up on 4th down. Bentley with 6 carries for 54 yards and is 1 of 2. 2 first downs, 1 of 2 for the air, through the air for 12 yards on a first down. As it's going to be a 4th down play coming up. The Bulldogs 1 for 1 so far on, or a penalty, my apologies. So we are going to have, this 3rd down will be replayed, as that's going to be a late holding penalty was called. So that's going to make it 3rd and about 18. Bentley, he's going to throw it, and it's, just incomplete off the receiver. Had him in stride, just couldn't quite pull it in, so that's going to make it 4th down and about 18 now. They need to get past the 7-yard line to get the first down. So we'll see what they do. Of course, I mean, every play that they've thrown it, Bentley has had an open receiver. Just haven't been able to quite pull it in. Empty backfield, Bentley all alone, and it's snapped. Bentley looking, and he's going to throw, and it's incomplete. So So the Buffalo defense holds on downs, and we'll see what they do. They came out first drive out of the wing tee, and Kane Beckley bust loose for 65 yards. We'll see how the Lawrence, though, was able to make the stop on the two-point conversion play, and we'll see how their defense adapts here in the second quarter. So now Buffalo coming back out, and they're going to have a fresh 1st and 10 after the defensive stop. So the Bison coming in today, and now they're going to come out, and that's going to be a wing tee again. And it's snapped, handed off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain no, that's going to be a fumble, and it's recovered by Lawrence County. So the Bulldogs will take over 1st and 10 on that. We'll get another look here. And you can see there looked like a trap play up the middle and handed it off again and just not able to quite hang on. The ball squirted out of there, and Lawrence County now a chance to start with it again pretty close to the red zone. So now the Bulldogs will come out, shotgun formation. Buffalo showing blitz up the middle, really looking to hit those A-gaps, and Bentley's going to take it. This time right side, he has room, gets to the 20, close to the 15. That's going to be a gain of about 9 on the play. Baylor Fuller on the tackle. So it'll be a 2nd and 1 coming up for the Bulldogs. And Bentley's going to take it again, this time right side around the defender, and that's going to be close. I think depending on spot. Number 51, Owen Adkins there. Feels like already we've been calling his name a lot. How he's been flowing to the ball, and that's going to be enough for a Lawrence County 1st down. So the Bulldogs will have it now, 1st and 10 inside the red zone, and it's going to be handed to Bentley. No, he's going to keep it, and he's going to get 1, maybe 2. Number 18, Dallas Vaughn on the tackle. And that is the 9th carry for Colton Bentley. And it's going up again, up the middle, and the big guy's going to carry it for about 3 more. And I heard a Bison get the tackle. So a 3rd down situation coming. It's 3rd and 6 coming up. They need to get past the 5 to get the 1st down. Again, I emphasize at this spot you're in 4-down territory. So we will see what the Bulldogs decide to do, but they've been dialing up Colton Bentley's number quite a bit for good reason. As he's going to carry it left side. Bentley with an opening. He gets to the 5. He's going to take it into the end zone untouched. Touchdown Bulldogs. And we are knotted up here with 4:33 to go in the second quarter as Bentley gets the 11-yard touchdown run. And he is up. I have him at 80 yards rushing right now. And now the Bulldogs will line up to try to take the lead. Bentley with 80 yards on 11 carries, and Beckley with the lone play by a timeout taken actually by Barboursville, by Buffalo. We're going to take it with them, so we'll be right back. You're watching the TSYFL Turf Bowl presented by One Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today. Been pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One-Way Septic Service. Don't delay.
And we're back. Tri-State Youth League. Here is it 6-all. But Lawrence County looking to break the tie on this two-point conversion. And it looks like we have a pre-snap penalty against the Bulldogs. And that's going to move them back, so that's going to make quite a long two-point conversion attempt for them. Of course, not impossible. There's a touchdown, just came from 11 yards out. I want to say thank you for tuning in and watching Tri-State Youth Football Turf Bowl, presented by One-Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN, as it's going to be a two-point conversion attempt for the Bulldogs. As that's shotgun trip stack. Bentley's going to roll out right side. He's going to run it. Well, he was going to throw for a second. He's going to go in for the two-point conversion, and the tie is broken. Lawrence County takes an 8-6 lead with 4:33 to go here in the second quarter. And Lawrence County has had the football a majority of the game. Buffalo Wayne has only had 2 plays, a 65-yard touchdown run by Kane Beckley, and then a fumble that gave Lawrence County possession back. So the Bulldogs now with an 8-6 lead here in the second quarter. Here with 4:33 to go. So now Buffalo Wayne will take back over 1st and 10. And they're going to come out, stick with a wing T formation. They got a 65-yard touchdown out of it earlier. And it's going to be handed off up the middle, and carrying again is Beckley. On his 3rd carry. So that'll make it 2nd and 7 now for the Bison. I mean, that's one thing stopping the wing T. You have to be extremely – if you followed Russell football in Eastern Kentucky, their head coach Ivan McGlone, who passed away sadly a couple of years ago, but Ivan, that was the staple of his offense for many years, both in Russell and when he coached in West Virginia. As it's handed off, Beckley carries it, and that'll be – well, this is number 50, David West, the big second grader, gets back there and makes the tackle, and that's going to make it 3rd and 10 coming up for for the Bison. And the Bison will need to get past their own 45 to get the first down. I mean, if they stick with that wing T, though, there's a lot of creative things. I remember going against that with Ivan McGlone when he coached. There are a lot of creative ways you can utilize that formation, as that's what they're going to stick with here on 3rd down. And they're going to hand it off. It's Beckley again, right side, and he's going to get tripped up. And that's number 16, Waylon Raines, with the tackle. So 4th and 10, they need to get past their own 45. I imagine they're going to use the punt option here as Lawrence County calls a timeout. We're going to take it with them. You're watching Tri-State Youth Football, the Turf Bowl, presented by One-Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN. We'll be right back.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One-Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One-Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
For it here. They need to get past their own 45 to get the first down. They're going for it. 4th down. And it looks like they tried to draw Lawrence off sides. So we're going to take a timeout. Lawrence leading 8-6 here in the second quarter. You're watching the Tri-State Youth Football Turf Bowl presented by One-Way Septic Tank Service Rent-A-KANN. We'll be right back.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One-Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
And we're back. It's 4th and 10 for the Bison. They need to get past their own 45 to get the first down. They're coming out wing T again. They're going to hand it off. Reverse play coming up, and there's a big hole up the middle, and he's going to take it for the first down and then some. And that's what I talked about, the creativity that you can utilize out of that formation. Muncie on the tackle, and I think that was Adkins that carried it. We're going to take a look at that replay. Watch the reverse. Adkins, that is him. Adkins slips through there, gets the first down by 5 yards. Great play, great design, great execution. And now the Bison will have it 1st and 10 at midfield. That's the first player other than Beckley that's touched the ball for the Bison tonight. As it's taken to the outside again, that's Beckley again. And he's going to get a gain of 9. Muncie again on the tackle, number 5. So 76 yards for Beckley right now on the ground, and Bentley for Lawrence County with 80. So 2 good runners showing their skills tonight. Well, this morning here is it's 2nd and 1 coming up. Wing T again, and it's going to be handed off. Beckley hurdles the defender, gets the first down, and then a couple. Number 31, Grayson Blevins, a second grader on the tackle for the Bulldogs. And the second grader, Kane Beckley, gets the first down for his team. So now it's 2 first downs for the Bison, both on the ground here as we're late in the second quarter. Of course, they did have a 65-yard touchdown run to open the game here. As it's going to be a reverse again, this time brought around, and that's Adkins again, I believe. He's going to break through a defender, and it takes a gang of Bulldogs to bring him down. So that's going to be a gain of 2. Lawrence County ready for the reverse that time, and that'll be 2nd and 8 now for the Bison. And they're going to hand it off again, a reverse. No, Beckley's going to take it to the outside, and the defenders collide. Beckley's open 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Buffalo, and the Bison get in. So this time they fake the reverse, and then Beckley's able to take it around the right side and run in. Let's look at that again. You see the good fake there, but forces the defender to bite. And then around the right side, the defenders just collide. And then Beckley, a 36-yard touchdown scamper, and he is having the night of his life in the championship game, as Beckley now up to 115 on the ground with 2 touchdowns. And now the Bison will attempt the 2-point conversion coming up. Take note, Lawrence County will get the football to start the second half, as the Bulldogs, it looked like, jumped off sides. And pretty penalty-free game for the most part, but that's the first offsides penalty for Lawrence County. They have that, a false start, and a holding penalty, and Buffalo Wayne has an offsides. So that's going to make it half the distance for this two-point conversion. Honestly, I just punch it up the middle to Beckley here. Why not, as if I'm Buffalo? And we have a timeout taken by the Bison. So we're going to take a break and come back. You're watching Tri-State Youth Football, the Turf Bowl, presented by One Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Okay, here we go. Two-point conversion coming up. Buffalo coming out of the timeout. And they're going to go back to the power I formation they tried on the last one. And it's going to be handed off this time. Beckley into the end zone, powers it in, and that's going to be good. It puts them up 14-8 here with 33 seconds to go in the second quarter. Kane Beckley, 115 yards on 8 carries tonight. Touchdown runs of 36 and 65. As now Lawrence County will have it with 33 seconds to go here in the first half. So now the Bulldogs will come out, 1st and 10. Here starting on their own 35. It's going to be an empty backfield, and I'm going to guess they try to utilize Bentley to the outside. Man in motion, it snapped. Bentley faked. It's a reverse. No, it's a fake reverse. It's going to be carried to the outside, and he's able to get out of bounds. Well, that'll be a gain of about 7. That's Colton Bentley again. Actually, 8 on the play. So Bentley now getting closer and closer to 100 yards. He has 88 on 12 right now. And it's going to be 2nd and 2 coming up. So clock stopped as he got out of bounds. So again, an empty backfield for the Bulldogs. And it's a high snap. Able to get on his number 1 block, and he's drugged down. And that'll be a loss of 9. It's a tough situation on the snap. So Lawrence County calls the timeout. We'll just keep it here. But first off, we want to say thank you for tuning in and watching video productions today, as this is the Tri-State Youth Football Turf Bowl presented by One Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN. And also want to say just a big thank you to the team that we have in place today. Want to give a shout out to Butch Mounts, to Robbie Mounts, Zane Townsend, and Toby Maynard, who are on production and camera for us today. And this is going to be a 3rd and 12 coming up for Lawrence County. If you're just tuning in, the first play of the game, Kane Beckley burst loose for 65 yards for Buffalo to score. Then later on, they would get a stop against Lawrence County, And when they had it 1st and 10 on their own 25, though, they would fumble, giving the ball back to Lawrence, who would score on an 11-yard run by Colton Bentley. As now it's going to be a run by Bentley again. He's going to look. I think he was looking to throw for a second. He's looking to get out of bounds, and he's going to juke. He's going to cut back. Bentley still on his feet and gets struck down. And that's going to – and that's Lake Scarberry on the tackle, the second grader. And that's going to do it for the first half. So your score, Buffalo Wayne, the Bison, leading Lawrence County, the Bulldogs, 14-8. We're going to take a break and come back. You're watching the 2023 Tri-State Youth Football Turf Bowl presented by One Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Looking for fair prices, professional service, and the most customer-friendly shop in the Tri-State? Then Freedom Gun & Pawn in Lavalette is your kind of place. Freedom Gun & Pawn has the best selection of new, pre-owned, and vintage firearms, plus a large stock of ammo and accessories. Freedom Gun & Pawn is everything you want in a gun and pawn shop. Freedom Gun & Pawn, proud to support our local high schools and communities. Across from Food Fair in Lavalette, online at freedomgunandpawn.com.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Here at Thornhill, our goal is to provide you with the best automotive experience.
From our state-of-the-art facilities, amenities, and certified staff we call family.
You'll be offered the best experience you deserve.
We take pride in our focus for customer care, bringing the best quality and support for all of our customers' needs.
What are you waiting for? It's your time to get behind the wheel with Thornhill.
Get started now at thornhillautomotive.com.
Just tag it at Thornhill, where it's all here for you. US 119 Chapmanville and Logan, WV to Belfry, Kentucky.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today. Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Looking for fair prices, professional service, and the most customer-friendly shop in the Tri-State? Then Freedom Gun & Pawn in Lavalette is your kind of place. Freedom Gun & Pawn has the best selection of new, pre-owned, and vintage firearms, plus a large stock of ammo and accessories. Freedom Gun & Pawn is everything you want in a gun and pawn shop. Freedom Gun & Pawn, proud to support our local high schools and communities. Across from Food Fair in Lavalette, online at freedomgunandpawn.com.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Here at Thornhill, our goal is to provide you with the best automotive experience.
From our state-of-the-art facilities, amenities, and certified staff we call family.
You'll be offered the best experience you deserve.
We take pride in our focus for customer care, bringing the best quality and support for all of our customers' needs.
What are you waiting for? It's your time to get behind the wheel with Thornhill.
Get started now at thornhillautomotive.com.
Just tag it at Thornhill, where it's all here for you. US 119 Chapmanville and Logan, WV to Belfry, Kentucky.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a great big hand to your Lawrence County Bulldogs C-Team cheerleaders. Great job today by both of these cheerleading teams. As we're getting closer to the start of the second half in this outstanding football game.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
That's number 16, Kane Beckley, on the tackle. That'll be a gain of 9 on the play. So 3rd and short coming up for the Bulldogs. So that'll be Lawrence County 2 for 4 tonight on 3rd down conversions. I have them at. As now it's going to be 3rd and 1, and I think safe to say they'll probably go to a power play here to try to get that first down. They'll have 2 shots at it. And they're going to stick with the gun. It's going to be handed off. Sharon Bentley. No, it's Bentley fakes the handoff. He's going to carry it right side. Bentley, 25, and close to the 20. And Colton Bentley, that'll be a gain of 6 and a first down. Number 16, Kane Beckley, on the tackle, and that's 8 first downs for Colton Bentley on the run, 1 through the air, as he has a 12-yard pass completion to Eli Block. And now it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs as they are on the 20, right in the red zone here in the second half. As they break huddle. And we'll have one more play here in the 3rd quarter. And it's snapped. Bentley again up the middle. He's going to cut it up. Bentley, 10, close to the 5-yard line. Bentley is taking over this game, and that line opens up. Watch that hole open up. You can see guys, Connor Fitzpatrick, one of them, number 99, gets his hands on the block, and Bentley seams through there. So at the end of 3, it's 16-14. Lawrence County in the lead over Buffalo. We're going to have a classic 4th quarter, I'm sure. We'll be right back. You're watching Tri-State Youth Football in the Turf Bowl, brought to you by One Way Septic Tank Service, RENT-A-KANN.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
And we're back. Lawrence County taking a 16-14 lead into the 4th quarter. They'll have it 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Shotgun 2-back formation, and it's going to be Bentley again up the middle. He's going to cut it up and get into the end zone for the 3rd time today. Touchdown, Lawrence County. Colton Bentley, 195 on the ground and 3 touchdowns as well on that end, and now that puts Lawrence County up 8 and a chance to make it a 2-score game here on this coming 2-point conversion. And, I mean, what resilience, what impresses me with Lawrence County seeing them, I mean, Buffalo had a great play to Kane Beckley to open the game. They went 65 yards for a score. Beckley just jetted through there and was gone. And then they stepped it up, stopped them on the 2-point conversion, and now that's just such a tough way to start a game. But that being said, there's a lot left in this Buffalo team. They're very talented, so I know they'll have a chance to, and they have a couple explosive playmakers that can get them back. Wishbone formation coming for the Bulldogs. As that looks like that's block under center. And I think Bentley's definitely the one to watch, though, in the backfield. I say he's having a heck of a night. Why not keep giving it to him if I'm Lawrence? And sure enough, that's who's going to get it. Bentley goes around going backwards, and he's going to get brought down. A huge play from Buffalo to prevent Lawrence County from making this a 2-score game. So with 7:54 remaining, it's 22-14. Lawrence County leading Buffalo Wayne. We're going to take a break here shortly and come back. You're watching the Tri-State Youth Football Turf Bowl presented by One Way Septic Tank Service and Rent-A-KANN.
Been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
And we're back. It's Buffalo Wayne football, down 8 to start the fourth quarter. And it's Beckley at quarterback, and he's going to take it and get 4. And that's what I mean with that wing tee. There's so many ways you can hide the football. They move Beckley to quarterback, and he gets 4 yards on the run. Russell had a player, Josh Gross, who's set several records statewide in the 2000s that I remember out of that formation. They would move him all over the place, and it was much easier said than done in terms of stopping him, as now they're lined up again, and it's snapped, and the ball comes out. So the Bison will keep possession as number 16, Kane Bentley, recovers a fumble, so that'll be 3rd and 5 coming up. The Bison will need to get past the 45 to get the first down. And it's going to be Bentley again taking it. He's going to go around. He has room. He's going to gain, stays on his feet, and gets the first down. What a run by Kane Bentley. Bentley now up to 128 on the ground. 2 first downs and 2 touchdowns, including runs of 65 and 36. Watch this player. Watch the blocking around the right side. See number 24, Lake Scarberry, with an explosive block. And now that's going to be a first down coming up. Three-man backfield as it's going to be Bentley again on the quarterback keeper, and he's going to gain 4. A pack of Bulldogs on the tackle. So now it's going to be 2nd and 7 coming up. As this game has been back and forth, it was Buffalo Wayne that opened it up with a 6-0 lead. Lawrence would tie it on an 11-yard run by Bentley, getting the 2-point conversion to make it 8-6. And then Kane Bentley would get a 36-yard run to make it, and the 2 to make it 14-8. And then Lawrence County with back-to-back touchdowns as Adkins gets a fumble, but flags down. We'll see who that's against, but that may be Lawrence County's football. That's going to be an illegal shift. Penalties declined. So that is going to make it 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs here in the fourth quarter. So Lawrence County, they sent 2 people in motion on that play, but Lawrence County, though, still able to recover the fumble. And now the Bulldogs will have it 1st and 10 on about the 48-yard line of Buffalo. Of course, I mean, if you're the Bison, you got to look at it and, try to make that big defensive stand. Still have an opportunity. You just have to find a way to get the ball back and get it into the hands of your best playmakers. As now it's going to be shotgun again. High snap, and Bentley's going to carry it. He runs room on the right side. He gets to the 40, 35, 30, 10 out the bounds past the 25-yard line. Number 16, Kane Bentley with the tackle. Or Kane Beckley, apologies, as that is a gain of 24 on the play. And on that, Colton Bentley goes past 200 yards on the ground. He's at 219 unofficially right now, as it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. And it snapped. Bentley right side, and he's going to get to the 20 and close to the 15. And that's number 0, Clayton Coy, and number 24, Luke Scarberry on the tackle. So 2:28 now for Bentley, as he has touched the ball on almost every play here in this second half for the Bulldogs. Of course, can you blame him? As he has put on a show. 3 touchdowns on the ground, including runs of 11, 1, and 6 yards tonight. As it's 2nd and 1 for the Bulldogs. High snap. Bentley's going to take it again. Right side. He's going to let his box form and get down close to about the 6-yard line. Number 18, Dallas Vaughn on the tackle. 12 first downs for Colton Bentley. 11 on the ground, 1 through the air. As now it's going to be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs with under 5 to go here in the 4th. We'll see what the Bulldogs dial up here. 1st and goal from the 6 as they come out in the gun again. And it's snapped. Bentley, left side. He's going to take it. And he's trying to get to the corner. Does. Touchdown, Lawrence County. Colton Bentley, his 4th rushing touchdown of the game. 2:42 on the ground for him. So now Lawrence County makes it a 2-score game, and they will line up to go for the 2-point conversion here as we're getting deeper into the 4th quarter. Of course, a lot can happen coming up here as the Bulldogs will break huddle. We'll see if they go back to the wishbone or they're going to stick with the shotgun formation. 1 back, but the receiver's stacked at the bottom of your screen. And it's going to be a pass. They're going to throw it into the end zone. Caught! 2-point conversion is good. And that is number 5, Tyson Muncie, on the reception in the end zone. And Lawrence County, with 4:17 to go in this one, takes a 16-point lead. We're going to take a break. You're watching a Tri-State Youth Football Turf Bowl presented by One Way Septic Tank Service and Rent-A-KANN. We'll be right back here on video.
Pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distraction.
Okay, so we're back. Bison coming out now. 1st and 10 as it's going to be handed off. They're going to Beckley, right side. And he's brought down by a host of Lawrence County defenders who did a good job pursuing the ball that time. And stopping Beckley is much easier said than done. 131 yards he has on the game so far. As the clock working against Buffalo right now, but again, they have the athletes that can potentially make the type of explosive play needed to get them back in this one. Still plenty of football to go. As they're going to come back out to the line. And it's 2nd and 10. It's going to be a reverse play. They're going to give it to Adkins, and he's mad at the line. Impressive showing from the Lawrence County defense on this drive. As now that's going to be, it looks like both defensive tackles were able to get there in and plug the gaps. So now 3rd and 10. And Buffalo will need to advance past their own 45 to get the first down. As they're going to stick with the wing T formation here on this 3rd and 10. As that's going to be a handed off. That's Beckley, right side. He's going to get past the line, but not much more. A gain of 3. And that's number 50, David West, the big 2nd grader that gets back there and makes the tackle. So now 4th down and 7 coming up for Buffalo. They need to get to the 45-yard line to get the first down. So we'll see what the Bison dial up here. They haven't thrown it yet. Lawrence County has thrown, let's see, they've thrown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, including on a 2-point conversion. As now they're going to, a double handoff, and the ball's bobbled out. So that'll be a loss of about 5. And Lawrence County recovers the fumble. And that's number 31, Grayson Blevins, with the fumble recovery. So now Lawrence County just has to knee it out, and they will, if they hang on to the football, they will be your 2023 Turf Bowl champions. As they break huddle, they're going to come out. They go under center here. Now they're going to keep it. Looks like they're going to have block in the backfield. And it's snapped, high snapped, handed off. No, they're going to throw it downfield, and it's incomplete. So Bentley's pass incomplete. I'm not sure about that one. I mean, I can understand wanting to try to keep it out of distance, but I think you just just keep moving. That was intended for Muncie, but I think you just want to, if I'm Lawrence County, just run the clock out as a timeout taken. So we're going to take it as well. You're watching the Turf Bowl here, presented by One Way Septic Tank Service and RENT-A-KANN. Yeah, we'll be right back here on Video Productions.
Pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
Have you been pumped lately? You need to contact One Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
And it's going to be 2nd and 10, so Lawrence County tried to throw it downfield that last play. We'll see what they do here. I think they're probably just going to try to run the clock out, and Lawrence is going to take a timeout. They're going to call, I think this is a substitution timeout. So they're going to put Bentley at the tailback position. Shotgun, one man in the backfield. And it's going to be quarterback keeper as Block takes it. He's going to cut back. Block to the 30. Tries to break through the defender. He does. Block cuts back. Going the other way with it now. Block a whole lot of running, but he gets about 5-6 yards. Trims a little bit of clock. And that's number 0, Clayton Coy, and number 10, Eli Howerton on the tackle. And that's going to be holding against Lawrence. Now that's going to make it 2nd. Hole must have occurred close to where the ball was spotted. 2nd and 15 now for the Bulldogs here with under a minute remaining in this one. And it's snapped. And the handoff's fake. Block's going to take it now. Right side, 35-30, and close to the 25-yard lines. And looks like I thought he stepped out for a second, but it looks like the official still motioning to run the clock, and that's going to do it. So Lawrence County will win the Turf Bowl here behind a memorable performance from Colton Bentley. And unofficially, let's see, I'm making sure all my numbers are right here, but 242 yards on 27 carries, rushing 4 touchdowns, and a 12-yard first down pass through the air as a pass from him to Eli Block, as Lawrence County, who trailed 6-0 on a 65-yard run to open the game, finishes the year as your Turf Bowl champions as the two teams go out to shake hands. And a big hand to both of these teams for putting on a great show, great display of athleticism today, both the teams and the cheerleaders. So we're going to take a quick break and come back, and we'll have the ceremonies for the trophies as they're bringing them out right now. We'll be right back here on, as you're watching the Turf Bowl.
Pumped lately? You need to contact One-Way Septic Service. Prevent damage to your underground plumbing and keep your system continuously flowing smoothly. There's only one way to service your septic system. So let's get pumped. One-Way Septic Service. Don't delay. Call today.
Looking for fair prices, professional service, and the most customer-friendly shop in the tri-state? Then Freedom Gun & Pawn in Lavalette is your kind of place. Freedom Gun & Pawn has the best selection of new, pre-owned, and vintage firearms, plus a large stock of ammo and accessories. Freedom Gun & Pawn is everything you want in a gun and pawn shop. Freedom Gun & Pawn, proud to support our local high schools and communities across.
We're back, and we're going to turn it down to the field for the presentation of the trophies.
Bison. Ring the number 0, Clayton Coy. Ring the number 4, Baylor Fuller. Ring the number 7, Cash Duty. Number 9, Breeze Bodnight. Ring the number 10, Eli Howerton. Number 15, Lucas Mounts. Number 16, Kane Beckley. Number 18, Dallas Bond. Number 20, Connor Duval. Wearing the number 21, Miles Olive. Wearing the number 24, Luke Scarberry. Number 30, Kane Duval. Wearing the number 33, Braxton Atkins. Number 51, Owen Atkins. And number 98, Hagen Jakubowski. Your head coach and assistant coaches, Jake Wellman, Derek Bowen, and the head coach of your Buffalo Bison, Justin Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a great big hand to the runner-up of the C Division in this Turf Bowl Championship game. It is your Buffalo Bison. Now at this time, let's present the trophies to your champions of the 2023 Tri-State Youth Football League Turf Bowl champions in the C Division. It is your Lawrence County Bulldogs. Bring the number 1, Eli Block. Bring the number 2, Colton Workman. Bring the number 4, Brentley Burchett. Number 5, Tyson Muncie. Number 7, Ryder Endicott. Bring the number 8, Tyson Townshell. Bring the number 9, Corey Keaton. Number 13, Lawson Levin. Number 16, Waylon Raines. Number 20, Benjamin Stevens. Number 21, Liam Canterbury. Bring that double deuce, Colton Bentley. Number 25, Leland Hall. Bring the number 30, Corbin Jude. Bring number 31, Grayson Blevins. Bring the number 41, Keegan Ratliff. Bring the number 50, David West. Bring the number 55, Richard and Sammy Powell. Bring the number 59, Marcus Bowen. Bring the number 98, Liam Walls. And rounding up his Bulldog roster, number 99, Connor Fitzpatrick. Your coaches, Caleb Bentley, Marshall Endicott, Aaron Blevins, Bobby Keaton, and Michael West. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a great big hand to your champions in the C Division in this year's Turf Bowl Championship game. It is your Lawrence County Bulldogs. As we get ready for the B Division here in about 16 minutes. For you football fans in this B game, the home team, which will be the Lawrence County Bulldogs, they will have the Marshall School. And the DC Express, which is the visiting team, will be the Georgia Southern School. But one more time, football fans, let's give a great big hand to these football teams. The future is bright for the state of Kentucky and also the state of West Virginia and the Wayne County area for your Buffalo Bisons. Also, just a little reminder, hey, if you're planning on staying, you still got 2 more.
Second game, of course, we got a lot more left. As next up, we're going to have the B team game, as we'll have Douglas Kamak competing against Lawrence County. So we'll be back here shortly. You're watching Video Productions.